Hey, everybody. So welcome if you are new to the channel, and welcome back if you love me. I love you too. We are full moon Scorpio today. So we're going to talk first about the actual transits. And then we're going to get into the secret code names. Everything will be timestamped. So secret code names are Jack Sparrow, Distraction, Black Heart, and Perpetual Pain. All right. So for those of you not familiar with how the secret code names work, purchased by individuals in my Etsy shop, and they get their secret code name. So each of these is their personal readings. The beauty of them is if you're drawn to one of the secret code names, one of the words or whatever stands out to you, chances are there is something in that message for you to take away from. All right. So keep that in mind as you're listening. If you would like your own secret code name for the new moon in Gemini coming up on May 26th, that's already set up in my Etsy shop as of right now. So you can book that event now if you want your own for the 26th. All right. The theme for that secret code name event is it only matters who submits. That's going to be the secret code name theme for May 26th. This one is what is dead may never die. Now, before I get into the cosmic currency on this one, what is dead may never die is the house motto of the Ironborn, House Greyjoy in Game of Thrones. And they rule the Iron Islands and the sea. They're known for, their fleets, their naval fleets. And their symbol is the octopus, right, or the squid or something like that. And it's very deep and watery, very scorpionic. And the idea behind this theme is that some things come up and come up and come up and come up, and what is dead may never die. It's things that follow us through multiple lifetimes, which Scorpio represents. And I think that is going to be a big theme with the secret code names as far as what is coming up for you to pay attention to, because you can start letting it go, right? Especially with all the transits that are coming up over the next year and a half. It's huge on a soul level. But I digress. Let's get into the cosmic currency. Now, the cosmic currency is the astrological breakdown of the transits. This is what the chart looks like. I did a little deep dive into all the fixed stars. And if you have any placements that are conjunct these aspects, especially the squares and the oppositions, you're probably feeling some really intense shit. I personally do not have any placements in my chart anywhere close to these alignments. So I'm not feeling I don't want to say I got off scot-free because I slept most of the fucking day. But I don't have any aspects in this chart, no conjunctions and stuff. I think the closest thing I have is a trine from Venus and Mars to my sun. And I think I have Saturn trine my natal Saturn and my Venus. I mean, I have some positive aspects with this full moon. But for those of you who are in the midst of the challenges of it, especially if you have anything around, 22 degrees Gemini or 22 degrees Scorpio or Taurus, or even 22 degrees Aqua is going to be feeling this like crazy, right? Even people with very end of the sign Pisces placements, right? Final degrees of Pisces, first few degrees of Aries are going to be feeling that. People who have natal Neptune and Sag at the end of Sag are probably feeling it. And you got to be careful because you don't need to be getting yourself in some drunk trouble with the different placements that are out here. So just be mindful. This moon, fixed signs, right? This moon, though, let's start with the moon and sun opposition itself. So the sun is conjunct Uranus and it's got Algol in there. So Algol, it has a reputation for a reason, right? It's connected to strangulation and beheading, danger, violence, things like that. Accidents and or injuries surrounding the throat. And then we've got the moon on a fixed star called Alpha Serpentis, and it's success that is followed by a fall. So it's from the crescendo to the crash. It could also indicate like insanity and loss of all different kinds, like loss of love, loss of finances. It could represent all kinds of things, right? Heights that crash. Because it's conjunct Juno, the moon, I know, because I'm looking at the bigger picture, right? We also got this yod that's aimed at the moon from Jupiter and Chiron, and I know the fixed stars that are tied into that as well. Like, you could, some, not all, but I'm going to give an example of how this alignment could manifest, right? If you just so happen to get nailed by this alignment, it could be finding out that your partner who, you know, maybe got pissed at you for things sometimes, but never really retaliated, finding out that, you know, you were betrayed by your partner because they were tired of the shit, you know, whatever the shit is that they're perceiving, right? Whether it's you or circumstance surrounding you or whatever. And really sacrificing the self. It could indicate scandal, you know, and people losing their fucking minds in partnerships and making bad judgment calls, you know, being overly ambitious towards things. Like, if you were to take this on like a work perspective, it would be like going after a promotion, someone else is going after it, trying to set up some kind of scandal around that person to make yourself look like the better candidate and having it backfire in your face. Like, it could have really looked for a second like you were going to get the promotion and everything was falling into place and all the manipulations were working, only to have it backfire. And it's like, what the fuck? You know, that success followed by the fall. And it's all about lessons, right? It's all about lessons, because this kind of stuff, especially because it happened at 12 noon today, CDT, right? Central Daylight Time. You would have seen it on the night side of the world, right? You would have missed it if you were here in the States. Obviously, you can't see the full moon like that. But I think the biggest thing that needs to get taken away from it on the whole is understanding that we have choices, right? Because the nodes are tied into this as well. If you look at the chart, there's the rectangle in the middle. Now, astrology calls it a mystic rectangle. I think it's the stupidest fucking name ever. I call them divine doorways, right? When we see these rectangles. And there's integrations, right? Challenges and oppositions. This one just so happens to be formed with the nodes. The nodes are lunar, right? It's the north and south pole of the moon and the directions that they're pointing in. In order to open this door, there might be great losses, like radical shakeups, but you can't come out the other side in whatever new trajectory you're on. You can't come out going in the wrong direction. So whatever is seemingly horrible to experience, if you really are getting like just fucking licked by this full moon, it is a reset, right? It's a major reset. especially if you do have partners that are not in alignment with you. People will be acting out of character. It's nothing personal, you know, it's nothing personal. It's just the way that things divinely aligned now that people aren't even acting like themselves in order to push you into acting like your highest self. Right? Positive aspect that might really be helpful is the trine going from Mars to Venus. They're not really affected by much else outside of each other, which is kind of nice because, you know, anytime you have something influencing, like, it creates kind of like a domino effect of energy. So the fact that Mars and Venus are just kind of holding steady with each other through this energy, being inside your fire, being inside that place of self-pride and loving who you are, having courage to be yourself, right? Having courage to kind of step into your own authentic image, right? Image. Something that defines more of where you are now. You know, like if you, for example, have been rocking an 80s style haircut for 30 fucking years, 40 years, you know, and it's about time you kind of found your new image. Venus and Mars and Leo and Aries are really great for that. Not everybody is gonna like it. You know, for some people, it could be a major weight loss journey. Maybe the people aren't used to the new them, right? Or the feelings that come up because you're a new you. And now maybe they're feeling insecure, they're feeling jealous, or they're feeling inadequate, or whatever. You know, from friends to partners to family members. Like, there could be a lot of changes that come up with, you know, the development of this energy and how it comes out over the course of time, right? How it continues to progress, especially once we get to the new moon in Gemini. That's like a whole nother thing on the 26th. That moon, I peeked ahead. It's wild. And this is the foundation for that energy. Like, everything needs to get shaken, everything needs to get rattled, everything needs to get put into motion for the new creative beginning, right? That comes with new moon. So this is a big release, full moon. I think it benefits you to really focus on yourself and what your needs as an individual are. Like, find where your boundaries are and then be honest. Which might be the hardest thing to do, right? It might be the hardest thing to do sometimes, especially with Jupiter being in square to the nodes and in square to Saturn. Being in this yod with Chiron, right? And sextile to Chiron, this yod it has, and quincunx to the moon. The truth, if you could speak it, I think it would really surprise you where the result ends up taking you. I think that anybody who decides they're going to try and lie or fib, because Jupiter is on Anilam, right? That star. Putting on a facade and not being true to face, right? When we say, like, people have a poker face or they don't. Like, I don't have a poker face. You can read my emotions clear as day on my face. For other people who decide to put on that facade, that poker face, and not be true to face, I think that's going to end up probably being one of the most low-key things that hits hard from Jupiter with this transit. An example would be like maybe a bunch of friends are at a party, one friend is missing or in another room or another area or whatever, and the people in the circle you're talking with are talking mad shit on this person, and they're really close with you, and you're smiling and nodding along instead of defending your person, right? Your friend. You're not being true to face. Like, you're upset that they're talking shit and you're pissed, but you're putting on a facade and a smile. So it's like that would be an example of that energy. And I think that might be, like I said, a low key, like secret scorpion sting type thing where you end up hurting yourself by not being real. Same thing in text messages or stuff, you know, like, because Gemini is all about communication and different things that are communicated and written, spoken. So even you can even go as far as body language. You could even go as far as body language, like anything to do with communication is in Gemini's wheelhouse. Be really true to yourself. Like, you got to make choices. Like I said, this is in square to the nodes. You got to make choices. Are you going to follow that North Node in Pisces path of the soul, staying in alignment with the soul? Or are you going to dip into social niceties and, you know, following rules in the South Node of Virgo? I don't think it's going to serve you in the South Node, right? The goal is to always hit that North Node direction. There's a divine order to it. It's conjunct Saturn. There's a divine order to it. Not following the divine order, it's on the star macabre, it's accidents, honors, enriches legal problems. So, you know, and even into, you know, darker energies of violence. So you kind of have to keep in mind that even if it's not like physical, it could be something that you end up doing to yourself, you know, like driving yourself insane, beating yourself up mentally and emotionally over things that you could have, should have, would have done different if you had just listened to your emotional compass, you know, that moral compass based off of what is right and wrong, you know. I think it's really important. I think that being that divine doorway in the chart, really looking in on those choices, knowing that some of the choices are hard choices, but that ultimately if you do choose truth, like, you can unlock that door. You will radically shift your reality. You will develop and evolve out of old emotional cycles that you've probably been dealing with for fucking lifetimes. You know, same people, different fucking day, same lessons, different day, you know, and finally getting out of these things. Pluto being in square to Mercury, right? Pluto is the planet that is ruled by Scorpio. Feeds a lot of energy to Pluto for this new moon. It's in square to Mercury. Sometimes being in the higher vibration, sometimes it's like a no risk, no reward type thing. And sometimes you have to make a bet, like a high risk bet, just because the fucking payout, if it would work out, would be so worth it. You know, like if you could imagine, you go into the racetrack, the different horses, there's the favorites, there's the long shots. Like, yeah, you could bet the favorites all day and maybe, you know, steady out your wins, take a couple losses or whatever, nothing huge. But throwing a long shot in there and increasing your odds, the payout's a lot nicer. It's like taking the risk on it. I think taking the risk on it might result in something that's immediately not so great, because Mercury on that star, Shartan, is defeat. But it comes with benefit, right? It comes with benefit, and Pluto takes the trump on this dynamic just because it's being held inside the moon's energy, right? Peculiar events, but great fortune in the long run. Sometimes you don't even see the benefit of something until later on down the road. And I think if it would have worked out any differently right now, It's like the butterfly effect. Like it wouldn't have been able to happen later. Small little details like you don't think matter. But it does though. Has yet to just close itself. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you guys have stronger significant placements in like the final 8 degrees of any given sign, because they're just being lit up all over. Any kind of heavy fixed energy is going to feel this. Heavy fixed energy is going to feel it, especially if it is in that final decan. And I think fire signs may have a perk if it's in the first decan. And I think if you have like late air degrees, because Pallas is at 23 Aquarius and Jupiter is at 23 Gemini. So like if you had something around 23 degrees air, I think that would be really beneficial. Depending on what you have there, it would manifest differently, but that Jupiter Pallas trine is a really great combination. All right. Yeah, these stars are fucking wild, dude. The fixed stars. Like out of 9 stars, one of them is positive and one of them is neutral, and all the rest are just fuck off wild. My God. Could the universe set up any more fucking booby traps? For real. Okay. Secret code name. Hey, Risa. Yeah. That's wild. I am starting to see a pattern with me in my own chart. I started, because I have the 𝐻𝐸𝐺 app, I started tracking like different life events, the astrology of them in my 𝐻𝐸𝐺 app. Like I have a folder of just called life events, and anything that comes up that's major, I put it up in there to kind of keep track of things. Like I went back, I spent probably a whole like two days going back and looking up dates and trying to find dates like all the way back in like elementary school, like different things that I remembered. I was trying to go back and get like as close to the date as I thought it was as possible, trying to track patterns so that I could fucking prepare for this shit. Maybe just a little bit better. For real. All right. Secret code name Jack Sparrow. We're going to start at 23 minutes 45 seconds. Secret code name Jack Sparrow, with the theme name being what is dead may never die, and that being like of the Iron Islands and the Iron Fleet and all that stuff from Game of Thrones. I think that if you were to go back and, or even just go on YouTube and look up like the progression of Theon Greyjoy or different stuff about Jack Sparrow, like just pick something you're guided to, because I think there's something about that character theme that you'll probably find humorous, but accurate nonetheless about either yourself or a person you're dealing with in that mirror of things. All right, we are using the Hermetic Tarot and the Barbarary Tarot. We're kind of going to get into whatever it is that you need to understand or see about a reoccurring pattern, right? A reoccurring pattern, whatever that pattern is. What is going on? for secret code name Jack Sparrow and those who are drawn to it in divine time. Okay. Secret code name Jack Sparrow. We got the Moon, Three of Pentacles, the Hanged Man, and the Six of Swords. I feel like there's more. Okay. Ace of Swords is on the bottom. And Justice is on top. Strong air and Libra energy. Pisces is out here twice. Give me some more on this. Let's get them all out. Saturn. All right. So if you were drawn to Jack Sparrow, you might really want to take a look at how the Saturn alignment is affecting your chart, or how your Saturn's being affected by the chart. Got the star here. Yeah, fixed sign energy with the world, star card. Uranian energy, Aquarian energy. Wheel of Fortune. That's Jupiter. Major Arcana. And the King of Wands. Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Swords. Top is the Ace of Cups. Okay. So the cycle that I think is ending, your superpower right now, your superpower is the truth right now. And understanding that if something or someone has you all wrapped up in your head, or trapped inside your head, or it's living rent free inside your thoughts, whatever, whoever it is, that's what you need to let go of. Or you need to allow the truth to speak so that you can let go of it, right? Maybe the reason that it's spinning around inside your head so much is because you have questions that you're too afraid to ask. You're driving yourself nuts. It might be a behavior pattern. I think you're closing the cycle on chasing wishes that end up not being enough. Like, you shoot for the Nine of Cups and it ends up being the Seven of Cups. You know, it's not quite what you hoped for. I think you're healing relationship contracts that might even trigger. They could trigger your temper if that's the route, or contracts that trigger like that chemical reaction, that alchemy, that chemistry, and they don't turn out to be what you want, right? Wheel of Fortune with the Hanged Man and the Knight of Wands. If you were in a long period of having to see things differently, right? Deep healing, where you were kind of inside your subconscious and picking yourself apart a bit, right? Peeling back the layers of the onion. I think you're coming out of that fresh and evolving quickly, right? And evolving quickly. I think you're really moving away from the loss of pleasure. You might even have certain sexual blocks that you're working out of. Almost like, I wouldn't say it's like an issue or a problem, but you might feel it or question it sometimes. Like, I would describe it as like feeling really hot in the moment and being so turned on. But then as soon as it starts to get a little bit outside of the realm of hot and passionate, and it starts to actually coming down to like taking off the clothes and hands going in places that, you know, there's like no going back from there, like it's on. I think that you have that issue when it transitions from just hot and passionate to actually doing it and not quite being able to just let yourself go with it. You know, it's almost like you start to almost hold back your own fire, like nerves kick in. And you don't know why you get like that, like why you start to almost recoil your energy. You don't just let it run wild. I think you're starting to get to that place where you're evolving out of that self-limitation. Because even if, like, I use the example of like being intimate with somebody, but it could be anything you're passionate about. You know, it could be passion for a craft or a hobby and going full speed, and then you get to a certain point and all of a sudden you just pull back from it and you're not as interested in it anymore. Like, what do you do with it? You know, you want to keep going, but it's almost like you pulled your pace back and restricted your passion, right? I guess it's the point of the energy. I think you're coming to the realization that you've earned your successes. And you're getting more acquainted with IDing your blessings. Like this and beep, beep, right? Like synchronicities. This person is a blessing in my life. You're getting better at IDing that. You know, a lot of times when we're younger and we're young in life, you know, like we don't necessarily see the blessings in people right in front of us. We're blind, or we take them for granted, not even realizing we're taking them for granted. You know what I mean? Like, we're just blind to it. We have a hard time IDing our earth angels. We're attracted to the lessons, right? I think you're getting better at IDing your blessings in life, whether it's a person or a situation or a circumstance or an environment. Like, you're tired of losing the positives because you've been chasing lessons for a while, you know, distracted by lessons for a while. I think you're coming out of that. And truth is good. Truth is good. Let's get I didn't realize how much vape. I just blew it right at the camera. I'm so sorry. Let's get one guidance card for you. This is the Spiritual as Fuck deck. Transit Saturn, Pisces 29 degrees, natal time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you do, Risa. Yes, you do. You are correct. All right. Namaste. The sleigh in me recognizes the sleigh in you. It says at some point you got to get up and act like the people you admire. You probably know someone who is slaying at life right now. Spend today doing the shit they do. Better yet, take them to coffee and ask them how exactly they managed to slay so hard. And then recognize where you are capable of the same kind of slay. You are capable of the same kind of slay. That has so much to do with correcting the inner dialogue, right? Words are powerful. Start believing in yourself. Like you can. And it might take time. It might take time. But you're worth the investment, right? I mean, God knows all we have here in this earth is time. Time don't exist anywhere else but here. Like, you have the time here to figure it out. So practice. Practice. You're capable of healthy relationships with yourself and other people. You're capable of success. However you define that success, you are capable of receiving it in some which way, shape, or form. And if you're open to the mode of in which it comes, well, then you're that much better off because you're not limiting how it shows up. Secret code name Jack Sparrow. I would really, really listen to your intuition and just give it a voice. I would just give your intuition a voice. Like today. I've felt it build up over the last couple days, and I was just like, you know what? Instead of having it continue to be off-putting to me, because you guys know I started dating for like the first time in forever. I met a couple really nice guys. Well, one obviously and clearly likes me a lot. He's interested in me. He texts me every day, you know, good morning, how's your day, and stuff like that. But I just went from not dating for 4 years, and the only person I talk to every single day is my son. The only person I talk to every day is my son. So I was just really nice about it and let him know very clearly this morning, like, I appreciate the fact that, you know, you say good morning and you ask me how my day is. I know a lot of women look for that. I said, but I just started dating, and I'm not used to talking to somebody every single day. That's not my son. Like, I have other things going on. I have thoughts in my own head that I need to attend to and things that I need to get done. And I don't like feeling that if I don't respond, that you're going to feel like I'm ghosting you, or, you know, that I'm not interested, and you start to, you know, feel some type of way about yourself. Like, that's not the goal. I just need to set the pace a little bit with something that I'm more comfortable with, because I didn't like getting that every day. I didn't like getting it every day. And he was super understanding. He's like, and he said it, you know, he's like, oh, I just really like you a lot, and, you know, I'm interested in you. And I kind of just left it there. You know, I think that's important for you to understand. Like, just because people are interested in me doesn't mean that I have to play some kind of role. and follow the rules, you know, like that Virgo South Node we were talking about earlier, you know, and being nice, social niceties. Like, I would rather just be in that North Node energy and listen to my soul and just give it a voice, you know. So whatever it is that's in alignment for you, allow yourself to give it a voice instead of just following along with what's expected or acceptable. I think that will help you a lot, right? The truth is your superpower right now. So definitely focus in on that, utilize that. I think it'll bring you a lot of healing. Especially moving forward, you won't repeat certain cycles that you've been going through for a hot fucking minute now. You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. A good shuffle on these. I gotta move these two decks out of the way because they're literally distracting me, which is the secret code name we're about to get into. Secret code name distraction. Oh, there we go. Let's get a timestamp. Yeah, so secret code name distraction. It was so wild because I'm sitting there and I always ask Spirit, like I focus on the person whose reading it is, and I say, what secret code name? And Spirit, I'll close my eyes and Spirit will show me something or give me something like audible. And every time I did it, there was some weird sound outside, whether it was the clink of the lid of the trash cans outside the unit, or a weird siren, or a dog bark, or some dude on a bike screaming across the street. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, there's so many distractions. And Spirit was like, yep. I was like, okay. There are so many distractions that it was hard to focus, you know. But the distractions, the fact that it was in the forefront of my mind, like, goddamn, there's so many distractions, like that in and of itself was the message in the synchronicity, you know. Like, it was right in front of my face. It was all distractions. And I think that might be something that you might be working through, right? A lot of divine distractions, and maybe recognizing that that's what they are. You know, this is a pattern that you've maybe been going through for a while, dealing with distractions. It's like knowing you have a highest path, but checking out every single detour along the way. You know? Or every single amusement park or historic site or the world's biggest rubber band ball. Spirit's like, can you just stay on path? Maybe you've spent a lot of time exploring different pathways, you know? Spirit's like, come on, you're dilly-dallying now. You can go back and visit those things later. Like, let's go. So let's see what is going on for secret code name distraction. And those who would be drawn to it, right? In divine time, whenever it's meant to catch you. Let's see. What is going on for secret code name distraction? We got the King of Pentacles. What else? Eight of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. What else? Give me some clarities, please. Okay. Hanged Man is on the bottom. Piscean energy. Princess of Cups is on top. Page of Cups. That is also Pisces energy. Let's get the Barbary Tarot out. What else? Give me one more layer to this, please. For secret code name Distraction. Take this a layer deeper for me, please. Libran energy out here. Taurian energy is out here. I'm putting this back in, but there's 4 court cards out of 5, and the 5th one's the 9 of Pentacles, and that's the Independent Siren. Femme fatale. You're dealing with a lot of people. I think that's the point. You are dealing with a lot of people. We're talking about distractions. You're dealing with a lot of people. Queen of Cups is on the bottom. King of Pentacles is on top. So we got the King of Pentacles out twice. Okay. I think what you're coming out of, because we got a lot of water here, I think that you probably really are highly intuitive and really good at communicating how you feel. Matter of fact, it's easy for you. I don't think you would know how to behave if you could not express your emotions. I think you'd go insane within 24 hours. I think the issue you might run into is that you mistake how you feel emotionally for your intuition. And they're 2 different things. Your feelings, your emotions, and your intuition are 2 different things. They can work together, but they are not the same. Not even close, right? And I think the problem is you fully commit, Hierophant, to the King of Pentacles, but the King of Pentacles is the Lord of material trouble. So whether it's you committing to a person like that, or you committing to attract or being attracted to places or environments like workplaces that it ends up not being what you need it to be, right? Lord of material trouble. Or you end up in situations where you're taking material losses. And then you're not sure, like once you've committed to something, what you feel is great, and take the loss, you're at a crossroads of just how much energy you should put in. Because a part of you wants to make up for the loss right away, and the other part of you is like, damn it, but I didn't create the loss. Something or someone else did. Like, I shouldn't have to make up for the loss. Like, the truth is you want justice. And if you commit yourself to that justice, I think it ultimately ends up what holds you back. In terms of like your ability to manifest. Because when these cards all fell out, Spirit gave me the flow of the energy, and I felt like this was looping back around. Like, you might go full swing independence and commit to a journey where you feel like that's where your emotional fulfillment's going to be, and then it's not what you thought it was going to be, right? It ends up being some kind of loss. And you try and reinvent yourself through it, try and nurture yourself through it for the victory, but then it just ends up being a toxic commitment. And the truth is you need to let go and go down a different path that makes you happy. And the cycle continues of trying to figure out what makes you happy and taking losses, reinventing the self, doubling down or getting attached to certain things. Right? The Nine of Swords is the nightmare. This roller coaster type cycle. And it might be because you're constantly banking on other people outside of yourself, right? The Three of Wands, and we have all these different people, all these different distractions who promise fulfillment, and then the loss is had. And you've kind of you got to build yourself back up. You're the Queen of Pentacles trying to find your King of Pentacles. And maybe you really do have to step up into your own King of Pentacles energy, right? Cut out the distractions. You know, not necessarily bank on other people to help you evolve something or build something. Like, I'm not saying you can't ask other people for help along the way or something, like, or advice or guidance or, you know, recommend something or whatever, but I wouldn't necessarily be looking at somebody like they're my partner in crime. I think you got to depend on yourself. And I'm not saying there's not somebody out there who isn't your partner in crime. Like, I'm sure there is, but it's a matter of mastery first. Like, you have to figure out what truth you've attached to yourself that is not true. Like, I can only be successful or own my own home if I have a partner in my life. Like, is that true? Is that true? Beyond a doubt, 100% absolutely true. Or is it something you're treating as true that's not really true? Like, are you capable of it? Probably. You might think that you're not. Maybe you were taught that you're not. But just because it's what you were taught doesn't make it true. I think there's something that you've attached to yourself as truth. But it's not true. It could be something like thinking that you're unlucky, or thinking that, you know, every time that you love something, it gets ruined. I can't love it because every time I love it, it gets ruined. Every time, right? Is that true? Is it just true from your experience and not necessarily true on the whole? Don't treat it as if it's true on the whole if it's only true to what you've experienced so far. You don't know what the whole is. You haven't reached the end of your story yet. You don't know what the ending is, you know? As far as the players are concerned, the distractions, we have a King and Queen of Swords. They're suited. They may be a couple or family related, like father-daughter. especially if there's favoritism. It could just be a couple, right? Strong air. I've got the Knight of Swords out here and the Page of Swords out here. That's a whole goddamn fucking family. You could be the black sheep. Really, I just noticed that. It's the Page, the Knight, the King, and the Queen of Swords, and then the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles, like I said, she's this dark angel. Yeah, we've got the Queen of Swords, the King of Swords, the Page, and the Knight. That is family drama. And a fucking siren. That could even be like on one far extreme end, that could be like succubus energy. And on the far other end of the spectrum, that could be a defiant, authentic, and rebellious individual who just refuses to feel bound and trapped by expectations or rules or anything like that from other people. Like, don't fucking tell me what to do. It's a lot of air. I feel like that's a lot of mind games. Like a web of stories you got to keep track of. There's something to learn from each of them. Or you wouldn't have distracted yourself with them for so long. You know, the detours are just lessons we haven't completely nailed down yet. You might need to really rebel into your authenticity. Let's get you a guidance card before I get too distracted. Don't be an ungrateful shit. Don't be an ungrateful shit. Seriously, if you're reading these cards, you're privileged as fuck. You can read. Reading is super fucking fantastic. Think about how many generations of people didn't get to read. Fuck yeah. We're not completely fucked. We know how to read. Don't be an ungrateful shit. You know, you're highly intuitive. Learn to read the signs. Learn to read the feelings. Learn how to let your emotions teach you, right? Use your emotions and your feelings in alignment with your intuition and start asking yourself the right questions. Instead of diving straight into what you're emotionally connected to, like, you know how to read your feelings. You know how to read intuition. Be grateful that you do and make it one of your strengths. Make it one of your strengths. Signs out here. One more time, I've got Pisces, Capricorn, Libra, Taurus, and super strong air, right? Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Distraction, I hope that helped. I hope that helped. Get you out of some long-standing cycles. So it sucks. Going through lifetimes for the same shit when we could just easily choose to move forward by applying a little bit of wisdom. Like, it's unreal how fast you can make progress when you open up to the idea that you're getting out of your own way. You're most welcome, beautiful goddess Risa. All right. We're going to get in a secret code name, Black Heart. Let's get a timestamp. Now, it's interesting because when I got the visual for the secret code name, it looked like the heart, like the organ, not necessarily the emoji, but it looked like a heart, like the organ, and it was pulsing, and it was like glistening black and dripping black, like sweating black. That's the best way to describe it. Like you could tell the heart underneath was red, but it was looked as if it was sweating black, like detoxing, I guess you could say. So secret code name Black Heart. What is going on? All right, Risa, I love you. Get some good sleep. I know I'm a night owl. I'm up all crazy hours. All right, last shuffle. What do we need to know? Spirit, please. For secret code name Black Heart and those who are drawn to it in divine time. Again, a lot of people. And this is a different deck. These cards are flying out. It's a lot of people. Yeah, it's too much. All right, clarities, please. You got people that waste your fucking time. Bottom of the deck is the Four of Pentacles. Top is the Ace of Pentacles. Take it a layer deeper for me, please, Spirit. Take it a layer deeper for me, please. Because there's literally a court card on every single one of these rows. Take it a layer deeper for me, please. More court cards. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the Star card. Top is the Four of Swords. Okay. Patterns. Right? Multi-lifetime patterns. It almost feels like holding on to the beginning. and not being able to let go when it starts to get toxic. Like holding on to this idea of either how things were at the beginning of dynamic ships or how someone was at the beginning of a dynamic ship. It doesn't have to be romantic. But getting hung up on the energy of the beginning and then not necessarily knowing how to develop out of it. And then by the time you realize something isn't staying the way you thought it was going to stay, it starts to set a subconscious tone. Like, it's what makes it toxic. It's what makes it toxic. I hope that makes sense to you, because I know what I know what it feels like, and I'm not sure how to articulate it. And maybe that's a part of the feeling, right? Like knowing what you want to say to certain people, but not knowing how to articulate it. Because you don't like change. You don't like change. It's like when we're in the throes of like a new dynamic ship and everything is great. And for however long, like you never have a fight. Everything is wonderful. You're always on the same page, always, in alignment, feels good. And then you have a disagreement one day, or they're short with you for reasons outside of you. It just comes out at you and you don't know how to respond. Like there's things you want to say, but you don't know how to articulate it. Almost like freezing and not even understanding where to go from there because you haven't explored it yet and you didn't think you would ever have to. Like the pattern was such for a while that you didn't worry about it. It might come as a little bit of a surprise. And then we have all of these different people and or scenarios. The King of Cups reversed with the Knight of Pentacles and the Three of Swords. That is someone who doesn't care about you and wastes your time. They go super, super slow. They're not actually interested in progress at all. And that might look like you're used to talking to this person once in a blue moon, or if they hit you up because they need something, once a month or whatever, they keep that breadcrumb of energy flowing just in case they need something. And that's familiar for you. And so that's the way you carry on. Like it would be weird if this person didn't reach out to you for certain things and you didn't feel helpful in certain ways or whatever, but this person, this archetype, it feels like they don't care about you. They don't hold compassion for you. I think they pull you around by the nose, and it's painful because you never get the answer that you're looking for, especially if you do want to make progress. Like you don't want things to change, right? You're holding on to the foundation or the beginning where maybe you and this person clicked, and you're not willing to let it go and take them for face value. Right? This is a past pattern, something that's been going on for multiple lifetimes at this point. especially if they play the, well, I'm just cautious. I like to take my time. I don't want to rush anything. But they do that for like 3 years. I'm just not ready. It's like they're pulling you around by the nose. They're keeping you around. They're still getting what they want out of you, but they're not progressing, and it fucking hurts because you're not chosen in that energy, right? You're not chosen by that energy. The second one, we have the King of Pentacles with the Princess of Wands and the Moon. And to be fair, to me, that feels like someone very ambitious, goal-oriented, who knows how to flash in and out, right? The Princess of Wands is the princess of the shining flame, and the moon is the ruler of flux and reflux. They know how to flicker in and out. And I think they're predictable. And they might even be, their energy might even be slightly playful. Like it's almost hard to be mad at them if you're around them and talking to them. Like you might be able to get mad at them on the phone. Hey Meg, how you doing? You might be able to get mad at them on the phone, but you can't stay mad at them in person. Like there's something about them that they know how to flicker. Okay? They're not a constant, steady lighthouse for you, but they know how to flicker, right? And it's hard to stay mad at them. These are two different archetypes that you have repetitive patterns dealing with. The last one, or the third one, is also a King of Pentacles with the Knight of Wands, not the Princess of Wands, right? The Knight of Wands and the Four of Wands. So this person that flickers in and out, who you can't seem to stay mad at, you end up evolving them into this kind of twin flame energy. And I'm not going to say you think that they're your twin flame, but it's almost that dynamic of wanting it because you can't have it and it's not going anywhere. So you're like, but why is it not going anywhere? You know, like if it's not meant for me, why is it still popping up? Why is it still here? Why can't I stay mad at it? You know, it evolves and you start to have fantasy visualizations, right, of happily ever after, what it could be like with this person. We might even be talking about a progression in general, to be fair, right? Because we went from the Knight of Pentacles to the King, right? We went from the Knight of Pentacles to the King, and the King of Pentacles went from the page to the Knight with the Wands. The Wands moves to the Queen, you know, from Knight to Queen. So I think that you get really fucking sad when things don't work out the way you envisioned. I think that's where that Eight of Swords comes from here. Like, people don't care, right? People genuinely don't care. They're pulling you around by the nose, and then they flicker in and out, and then the idealization starts happening, the fantasizing starts happening, and then the disappointment happens. And it's too much. You emotionally, like, you don't know what the hell to do with all that. You've got to be strong and believe in love again. And you find yourself at this crossroads energy where you end up being your own obstacle. You don't know whether to burn it down and let the bridges you burn light your way, or if you continue to care. You end up at that choice point. Right, I got the Two of Pentacles here, and I got the Two of Pentacles clarifying it here further, and it's the Queen of Wands with the 2 and the Queen of Cups with the 2. You don't know what to do. It's fucking heavy. You don't know whether to throw the match and burn it, or love through it and endure it. You've done this to yourself for lifetimes, right? You don't know how to let go of the beginning. It evolves. And I think that's what the black heart is, right? That oozing or sweating of the black energy from the heart space. Like, you've got to put your heart through a detox, because the people that you've attached yourself to, that you started, you know, idolizing inside your head in some which way, shape, or form, they come from past lives, and they're just fucking, you might as well just throw the narcissist word at it, because that's what it is. They don't have any empathy. They don't have any connection to you. They don't have any emotional attachment to you. Truly. Truly. They started not giving a shit and having their own agenda. And then realizing that you were, you know, hung up on the beginning or hung up on the start, they could flicker. They realized they could flicker. They could do more than just use you one time, not caring. Now they could flicker in and out. And now that they're flickering in and out, you have these, you know, ideas that maybe it could become more. It's never going to become more, because they didn't care from the beginning. Right? People that love you establish that sense of intuitive care from the beginning. This person doesn't have that. And they pop up continually. You need a heart detox. People got to show you they care from the gate. They got to show you they care from the gate. At the very least, showing up when it matters. And on occasion, just because. You know, they show up just because they can, and they want to show up and be there. Green flags. Let's get a guidance card for you. Spiritual as fuck deck. For secret code name Blackheart. Call bullshit on your bullshit. Once you start laughing, you start healing. Want to get out of a rut? The first step is to get tired of the bullshit. Your bullshit, their bullshit, the world's bullshit. Spend today honing your sense of deja vu. Once you can spot the old shit, you can start to stop that old shit. Once you can spot the old shit, you can start to stop it. This pattern has been going on for a while, right? If you aren't ready to laugh at what's going on, then laugh at something else. The internet is filled with ridiculous shit. Laugh at that, or call up your best friend who you can trust to make fun of your problems in that loving, brutal way that they do. Just start laughing. You don't have anything to lose. Laughing is soul medicine. Like, it picks up your vibration. We've also got, if you ask the universe for signs, believe what shows up. Think twice before you give a fuck. Manifest the fuck out your dreams. And you can learn a lot of good lessons from a few fucked up people. Ain't that the fucking truth? You can learn a lot of good lessons from a few fucked up people. Wow. Think twice before you give a shit. Okay. I think that if this is the pattern, right? If this is the pattern where you kind of hold on and lock in inside of a fixed idea and allow it to kind of run away with you a bit in a direction that goes against the reality of things. Sorry, my nose is itching like crazy. It goes against the reality of things and starts to evolve. And I think it's great if you learn something at the end about how you got yourself in that pattern to begin with. But if someone doesn't act like they care from the beginning, don't hold your breath for them to care later. It can evolve any way it wants, but don't hold your breath for it to evolve later into them caring. If they don't care from day one, they're not going to care at day 1,000. Something in them has to care. Even if it's just a smidge, it has to care in there. If they don't care about you on day 1, they're not going to care about you at day 1,000. They're not going to care about you at day 10,000. They either have the capacity to do that or they don't. And you just need to learn how to realize who and what you're looking at. Not pretend that they could evolve into something different. Like really taking people for face value. Like we got a lot of lusty energy, we got a lot of wands, a lot of passion, and we got a lot of money energy here, pentacles. So money and chemistry might be big deals, and I think maybe you need to start considering emotional value, right? The emotional value that someone brings and weighing that just as heavy as the money and the chemistry, right? Putting a real solid value on emotional capacity and intelligence. Secret code name Black Card. I hope that helps. Shed some light to maybe something that you've been dealing with for too long. And you can apply that across any dynamics, you know, like getting hung up on people in the beginning and thinking that they could be more. Really, my nose is going fucking nuts. It's never like this until I start reading. Last secret code name is Perpetual Pain. Let me get a timestamp in here. Secret code name Perpetual Pain. And, you know, Spirit kind of gave this to me as perpetual, meaning like it doesn't go away. It seemingly doesn't go away. Like it doesn't break. It's a perpetual thing. And it's coming to a release, right, with the full moon. So we're going to address where this perpetual pain, I'm sure, is coming from. And maybe get some insight into how to finally let it go so that you can manifest things that are not painful on what feels like a regular, everyday basis, right? Okay. If I scratch my face off mid-live, guys, like, just ignore it. I'll keep reading regardless. I'll read through it. All right, we've got the Six of Swords. The Three of Swords. The Chariot. The Moon. The Fool. Whoa. Give me one more. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the Princess of Cups. Top is the Ace of Cups. Let's take it a layer deeper, please. Secret code name Perpetual Pain. Oh. That King of Wands, man. He's been coming out in this deck so much. What else? The World is out twice now. Big Saturn energy. Moon's out twice now. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the Queen of Cups. Top is the Knight of Cups and the Three of Swords. Also out twice now. Okay. I feel so uncomfortable. Like, I don't think y'all cannot possibly feel what I'm feeling right now. My whole body feels like I need to itch. It went from just my nose to being like my whole body. It is the craziest feeling. All right. I think you're too forgiving. I think you're too forgiving. Now, forgiveness is not a bad thing. It's healthy to forgive. I think the biggest thing is you don't have to, and I think it came up in one of the readings we just did, one of the Wheel of Fortune readings. It came up in one of them. Just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you have to restart a new relationship with them. You know, no matter what the relationship is, like just because you forgive your mother doesn't mean you have to have a whole new storyline to start with her. You know, you don't have to welcome her back into your life just because you're, you know, your ex and you find some kind of closure doesn't mean you have to start over. You know, I think that you forgive, you learn to forgive because you understand like really strong empath energy, super strong empath energy. And I think that you really would prefer happier new beginnings. You know, like at the very least, maybe, you know, someone that you forgive, you and them can be on good terms and actually, you know, bring back positive attributes to the dynamic and let go of the not so good ones. The thing is, it's almost like if they hurt you once, they'll hurt you twice. Like just because you forgive doesn't mean they won't repeat it. I was talking to somebody and they asked me why I got a divorce, right, from my son's father. And I said, I left him the second time for the same reason I did the first time. I left him for the same reasons. Same reasons, right? 5 years apart, two completely separate relationships at different points in time. We had different locations entirely. Like, I left them for the same reasons. And I think that that's something that maybe maybe you've done that too many times. Forgiving, trying to start over, regardless of the kind of relationship dynamic it is, trying to start over and realizing that they did it again. The same thing they did to hurt you the first time, they did it again. I think if you give people the opportunity to hurt you twice, they will. I think that you've gotten powerful in being able to move forward from betrayals. I think that you may have had a difficult time shining afterwards because you were confused on how the pain started. Really, we've got the Moon with the Chariot and the Death card, followed by the Eight of Cups with the Moon and the Blasted Tower. It's almost like you're constantly navigating through the dark because you don't know how the pain was self created from the gate. And it has to do with the Seven of Cups. It has to do with feeling confused or lost to self. Like you don't see your shine, or you were taught that your shine hurts other people. Like, don't be like that. Don't talk like that. Don't act like that. Don't think like that. Don't choose that. Right? People are, it's almost like, and maybe you'll have to tell me if I'm right. It's almost like you could hear somebody in the back of your mind, like a slap on the wrist. And it creates a hesitancy in being yourself or choosing what you would choose. The Three of Wands reversed with the Foolish Man, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Universe. It's almost like a complete fucking cutoff. Like the Tower hits. And if you don't tear yourself from these people, the universe rips you from them. If you're having a difficult time navigating through the psychic fog, the universe will rip them from you and give you time to reset. And then also offer you the opportunity for forgiveness to see if you do it again. How many years did you spend blaming yourself for relationships that did not work out with toxic people? Including parents or siblings. Like, I'll tell you, I forgave my mother and my father. I forgave them so many fucking times. So many chances. So many. And no matter how many chances I gave them, because they were my parents and I love them and I wanted it to work out. I wanted it to be better so bad so that we could just have a happy family. You know, a united family, fucking normal, sane. Forgave so many times. And it just hit me one day, like, they're just doing it again. Every time I forgive them, every time I reconcile, every time we try and start over and work forward, it's like the same fucking thing. They did the same thing. And the universe would rip me away. And then I'd end up going back years later or months later and I'd get ripped away again. Like, same thing. I think you're dealing with a similar pattern. And it's like, why? And the why is because you were told from a very young age or early who you are, like who you are, don't be that. Right? Don't be that. Don't think that. Don't say that. Don't be you. Don't ask those questions. That's like someone telling you you're no different when you are different. Or someone telling you like you're different when you're exactly the same. But anything you are, you're not that to other people. And it's like you've been told this your whole life. Like, you're not what you think you are. You're this and you're that. Don't be that. Be something else. Don't be you. Be something else. If you are you, then we can't love and commit to that. We're going to betray it. We're going to hurt you at some point if you're not going to be like what we want you to be. Then you're going to get hurt, you know, because you're different than what we want. You know, a stupid example would be somebody only liking you with blonde hair. Like they would only like you if you had blonde hair. But maybe blonde hair genuinely doesn't look good on you, but they only like blonde hair. So they're using it as the reason why they can never actually love you. You know, they can never actually respect you. You're not blonde. You know, it'd be something, it's a accurate analogy. It's stupid, but it's accurate. Like you could be it, but it doesn't look good on you to be it. It doesn't feel good to be it. You don't like yourself when you're that way. But they'll only not hurt you if you're the way that they can accept. And you're constantly forgiving these people because it's your fault, right? It's your fault that you're not what they wanted, that you're not perfect. It's your fault. That's the subconscious message, the undertone. You forgive them because you accept some kind of fault on a subconscious level. I think you just need to choose who you do and don't want to keep investing in because they keep hurting you for whatever fucking reason, and it's not your fault. Just because you're not what they want doesn't mean they have the right to fucking dishonor you or hurt you or disrespect you. You know? No one has to be rude. Or inconsiderate. It hurts having people ripped away over and over again. Trusting and then retrusting only to get hurt again, you know? Like that's the pattern that has to stop. Forgive and let go entirely. Forgive and then let go and move on entirely. Guidance. Maybe you just need to shake your booty. Maybe you just need to shake your booty. I shit you not with these cards. Life throws out very few problems that aren't more easily managed after you've danced it out a bit. Think you're a bad dancer? Stop that shit right now. Just stand up and give your groove thing a jiggle. It's 98.5% scientifically proven to make you take yourself a little less seriously. It's funny because I was dancing this morning in the kitchen and I was making pancakes. I was making pancakes and I just kind of was dancing to the tune inside my head. I wasn't even listening to nothing. Just kind of dancing. And I hope you do that maybe a little more often. Throw some music on and get into your own pace. You know, whatever you got to do, just throw some music on and let yourself chip away at it. You know, like music has been a big thing for me the last few days. And it's not always, like there are some days I can go days without listening to any music at all. But it's been a common theme for me the last few days. And music's been helping me get through a lot of different things that I've been working on. You know, I think that listening to the different lyrics and what you've been drawn to and what you're feeling is going to help you process through stuff. Because if you're not processing through it or you don't resonate with it, you're not going to listen to it. You have to still enjoy it or resonate with it to some degree. Use it as a little bit of a guide light. You know, see what comes through on your Spotify. And dance it out with spirit. All right. I appreciate y'all popping in. I do hope you guys enjoyed the messages. I will have all the timestamps in the description and the comments after. I will see y'all again tomorrow for Wheel of Fortune. And if you do want to get your own secret code name for the next event, make sure you check out the Etsy shop. The next one is the new moon in Gemini on the 26th of May. And you can get your own personal reading via secret code names if you want one. All right. I love you guys. Release all that old shit. And I'll see you next time.